Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bianca if you are new, and today we are going to be doing my January wrap up. So this video is a little late. It is, I believe, the third week in February that I'm putting this out, or that I'm filming this. If you can hear it, my voice is a little off. I've been dealing with some congestion and I just haven't been feeling like myself, so I haven't been filming recently. So let's get into this. I read 6 books in the month of January. I started a 7th, but I didn't finish until February, so that'll be my February wrap up. But I read 6 books, and in total I had 3 5 stars and 3 4 stars. So it was a very good start of the year and a very good month reading wise for me. So I'm going to do these in the order that I read them, and we'll go from there. The first 2 books, when I first read them, I originally viewed them as 4-star reads, but I also started using the Kopow system by G from Book Roast, and as I was putting in my numbers, they became 5-star reads. So let's get into those. The first one that I picked up in the month of January, I think I started it the first and I finished it the second, was Every Heart a Doorway by Sean McGuire. This was one of my, I believe, top 23 to read in 2023. I am going to have that video up for you soon. I have filmed it. I just have to edit it. But I love this. This book is about Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. It follows the story of these kids who, disappear into portal worlds, and then when they come back, they have trouble readjusting. So this particular one follows Nancy, who was pulled into this underworld type world, and she's having trouble readjusting. And so her parents send her to the Eleanor West School for Wayward Children in order to bring the daughter that they knew back. And what is great about Eleanor West, she was a portal child, and she is helping these children either adjust until they can go back or give them somewhere to escape to where they don't have to change who they are. When I've heard it mentioned, people really kind of focus on the fact that it's a portal fantasy, and it follows these kids that have been pulled into portal worlds, but I didn't realize there would be such a gripping mystery in this, and I didn't realize how much it would grab my attention, because once I started it, I couldn't put it down. And I'm really excited to continue with this series. There are 8 books out now, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there are 8 books out now. One just came out last month, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to read this. And I definitely do want to finish this series this year, because these books are really short and it shouldn't take too much to get through all 8 of them. So more about this. I really enjoy the characters. I love the representation. They had asexual characters, they had bi characters, and I love that about this. I also really enjoyed how each child is kind of encouraged to be themselves. They don't have to change who they are. When they are in these portal worlds, they're celebrated for being who they are as a person, and then when they come back, they're kind of set off because they're not who the world wants them to be. And I love that Eleanor West's school for these portal kids encourages them to be themselves and loves them for who they are and who they were accepted as, and they don't have to change themselves. I also thought it was really fun to get to meet all these characters and to get to see all their different personalities, and I really look forward to seeing more of these characters throughout the series. So I did enjoy this one. And this one I gave 5 stars. The next one is another one I've seen all over BookTube and all over BookTok and Bookstagram. This came out, I believe, last year. Yeah, this came out last year, and it got rave reviews kind of right off the bat. And I was a little hesitant about picking it up because it's not exactly a book I thought I'd be interested in, but I ended up loving it. It is a 5-star read. This is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This book was great. It very much is a high fantasy with low stakes, but it still had some action, and I love that. And one thing you don't hear a lot about is, well, I didn't hear a lot about, is that there is a tiny bit of romance in here, and it's sapphic, it's so cute, and it's cozy. This book is so cozy. Okay, so this one follows Viv, who is an orc. Yeah, she's an orc. Yes, she's an orc. She has been fighting for the majority of her life, and she's ready to leave this life of blood and violence and settle down somewhere and make a different kind of living. So while she was on an adventure, she discovered coffee, and so she decides, you know what, I'm gonna open a cafe. She has no clue how to open a cafe. She has no clue what steps to take to open a cafe, but she knows she wants to do this. And so she settles down in this little town. She meets a whole bunch of people who help her achieve her dream, and she also learns some lessons along the way. So one of my favorite aspects of this story was the found family trope. So it was just beautiful. Viv moves to this town and she meets these different people, and you can't tell at the beginning how much of an impact these different people will have on her life and on the story. But towards the end, you see how much she comes to care and how much they mean to each other, and I just love that. I also love how Viv kind of, she really kind of just cuts off everything she used to know and moves to this new phase of her life without any backup plan. And I thought that was so brave, because it's really hard when you've been doing something for so long and you don't want to do it anymore, but you don't know what you want to do instead or how to accomplish what you want to do instead. But she does it. And I thought that was beautiful, that, she had this dream in her mind. She knew what she wanted to do. And even though she didn't have a set plan of how she was going to accomplish it, she still went out and she did it. So I really enjoyed this book. Definitely recommend. I tabbed it a little. And when I read it again, which I know I will tab it some more. So highly recommend. And again, this was 5 stars. So the next book, the next 2 books I read were comfort reads. I have this thing where if I listen to music while I'm reading a book, if I hear that song years later, it automatically puts that book in my head and I have to pick it up again. So as I was riding home from work, a song pops up on the radio, brought this book to mind, and I had to pick it up. This is Shades of Twilight by Linda Howard. This is a book I read years ago. If you can't tell, it's old, very well loved. I have broken the spine a lot, and it's a comfort read. So this follows Rhonda Davenport, who has lost her parents. She lost her aunt and uncle in a car crash, and she and her cousin Jessie have been moved to live with a grandmother, so she could take care of them. And this family of Talents and Davenports kind of want to keep it in the family, and as distant cousins, they set Webb up to marry Jessie. But Rowena has always had feelings for Webb. They started out as innocent, he protected her, and then as she got older, she grew to love him. Now, events happen that cause Rowena to kind of fall out with Webb, and then Jessie is murdered one night, and Webb is automatically thought to be the murderer. And he leaves for, I believe it's 10 years. And then when the grandmother is ill, she's kind of deteriorating, she's old, she wants Rowena to bring Webb back. So it's so cute. I love it. This was 4 stars. It's just a comfort read. The next one is another comfort read. I don't think a song actually brought this one to my mind. I think I just kind of wanted to pick it up. This is The Night and the Dove by Lori Wick. This is kind of like a Christian romance. Very wholesome. I loved it. It's really cute. So it follows Meg, who has grown up in an abbey because she doesn't get along with her mother, so her father removes her from the situation. Who has been set to marry Bracken of Hawkins Crest because King Henry has ordered the two families to join. And Megan has an older sister named Marigold who refuses to marry Bracken because he's not anything higher than a knight or an earl. He's an earl. And she won't marry a lowly earl. So Megan is sent to marry Bracken of Hawkins Crest, and you know, their relationship doesn't start off the best way. But you know what, I really enjoyed this. It does bring religion into it. It is a Christian romance, so if that's something you're not interested in, don't pick this up because you won't enjoy it. But I mean, it's nice. Like I said, wholesome. I enjoyed it. It's really just something I pick up when I need a little relaxation and comfort, and I enjoy it. So this was also 4 stars. The next book was a new read, and this one is one I've heard a lot about, and I know a lot of people love it, and I really did enjoy it. This is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This was my second T. Kingfisher book. I read A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I believe it was December of last year, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really cute, so I thought I'd pick this one up too. I also have Sword Heart, which I barely started. I'm on chapter 2, which is only page 8. But I do have this one that I want to pick up and read. So I like T. Kingfisher as an author. So this was the second book I picked up, and I enjoyed it. I like the premise. So it's kind of like a dark fairy tale where the main character, Mara, has set out on an adventure to save her sister. And this kind of leads her into a dark forest where she has to make a bone dog and like a cape of nettle, and she has to deal with the dust witch, and she has to go to the goblin market, and it's just all of this so she can save her sister from an abusive prince. And it's just really fun. Again, there's sort of like a found family aspect, along with kind of she's going on this adventure to save her sister who has never really treated her the best. But after years of watching her suffer, she's like, I can't take it anymore, I have to do something. And the thing I loved about Mara was that even though she was silenced and she was quiet and she didn't recognize a lot of what was happening to her, around her at the beginning of her life, as she got older and realized what she was missing, she knew she had to change it. And she set out to change it. So this is a quick read. It's only, I don't think it's 300 pages. No, it's 240 pages. So it was a quick read. Very enjoyable. There is a bit of a romance in this, which, you know, I love my books with romance. So this was great. So I did give this 4 stars. It was a little slow at points. But the language was beautiful. This was a beautiful book, and I really did enjoy it. And my last book for the month was it's a novella, but it was it was Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson, which is the follow-up novella to Sorcery of Thorns. And I loved this book. I believe I gave this 5 stars when I read it. And this one also got 5 stars. This was the perfect follow-up to Sorcery of Thorns. It answers questions that I had. It was just so enjoyable. I read it in one day. I picked it up and I could not put it down. So it was great. It was just so much fun. It held the same vibes of Sorcery and Thorns, and it was great to see all the old characters again, and to really get to see the romance between Elizabeth and Nathaniel continue to grow. So in this one, Elizabeth is settling into her life with Nathaniel. They're living in Thorn Manor together with Silas, Nathaniel's demon servant. And, you know, weird things are starting to happen at Thorn Manor. The manor is starting to kind of rebel against those inside. They are kind of blocked off. And this all kind of happens as Nathaniel and Elizabeth are starting to get closer. So there has to be a connection. So it soon becomes clear that the house is influenced by some of Nathaniel's ancestors, and there has to be a price paid for the manor to go back to kind of protecting those inside the house as opposed to rebelling. And as a result, Elizabeth and Nathaniel kind of have to lean on each other to figure out what's going on. I loved it. I loved it so much. And it really made me want to reread Sorcery of Thorns. And this cover is gorgeous, beautiful, just beautiful. And the little book is cute too. I like that it's like a small hardback because it's just kind of perfect. Because it's not the full-size story, but it is a nice little add-on to the original story, and I love that. So there were many scenes in this book that I loved, but I don't want to say them because they're spoilers. But I definitely recommend picking this up. If you love Sorcery of Thorns, you will love this. If you haven't read Sorcery of Thorns, I recommend reading that because that was a 5-star read for me. I loved this. I love that, and I love this. So yes, 5 stars. So these are all the books I read in January. You know what? None of them are ridiculously long, but I think this was the perfect way to start off the year. I am still currently ahead on my Goodreads goal, so hopefully that continues and I can exceed it this year. But I loved all of these. They were all great. It was a great start to the year. If you've read them and you love them, let me know. If you read them and you didn't like them, let me know. I would love to talk to you about them. And let me know what you think I should pick up next. I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and don't forget to pick up a good book. Bye.